is premised on equal justice, but also we have evolved into due process. And it's really the due process. I, as a person who for a couple decades almost represented low-income people, it is due process that really equalizes those differences between people. If we follow the rule of law, then we're able to achieve that equal justice that we are promised and hope to have continue despite our differences, despite our class differences, despite our racial and religious differences.
Judge, anything to say about this? FBI Director Kash Patel says a U.S. judge has been arrested for obstructing an immigration operation. Let's go live right now to our senior crime and justice correspondent, Caitlin Poland. It's pretty dramatic. What are you learning, Caitlin?
Truly, Wolf, this is something that we have certainly not seen before, but appears to be part of this aggressive approach the Trump administration has toward immigration. What the FBI Director Kash Patel announced in a social media post just a few minutes ago this morning is that just now the FBI arrested Judge Hannah Dugan out of Milwaukee, Wisconsin, on charges of obstruction after evidence of Judge Dugan obstructing an immigration arrest operation last week. We believe Judge Dugan intentionally misdirected federal agents away from the subject to be arrested in her courthouse. Eduardo Flores Ruiz is the name that the FBI director puts out there about that subject, allowing the subject to evade arrest. Thankfully, our agents chased down the perp on foot, and he's been in custody since. But the judge's obstruction created increased danger to the public. So that's the FBI director laying out this apparent story and the developments this morning, Wolf, of what is happening with this arrest. We have reached out to the Milwaukee County Circuit Court, which is where the judge sits, Judge Hannah Dugan. They have not responded yet, and there isn't any publicly available information in the court record about this, but it would be a startling development if this judge was arrested as she was working on the bench as a judge handling an immigration case or a case of a person that ICE was also interested in. Wolf?
Yeah, very dramatic and significant indeed. Caitlin Poland's reporting for us. Thank you very much, Pamela.
Oh, shit. Here we go again.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. I hope you're all having a great and wonderful day. Well, what we have here is clearly a judge, again, a woke Democratic judge, breaking the law because it seems to be a direct thing that's been keeps on going on with these Democratic judges. It really is kind of sad on how this is continuously going on. And, yeah, it's not great. And this is what we have to be dealing with the Democrats constantly breaking laws and obstructing justice, etc. And I don't know what else to tell people. So here is a video, or a clip rather, of kind of explaining exactly on what is going on, the reasons why she's being arrested, for which was confirmed by Kash Patel, because, you know, she's not the greatest person in the book. Obstructing the government from doing things is not what we call legal. So, you know, she gets what she owes.
Questions tonight asking whether a Milwaukee County judge obstructed justice by shielding a man from an ICE arrest at the Milwaukee County Courthouse. The incident happened Friday in misdemeanor court and could make the judge a target of a federal investigation. Nick Bohr tonight with that story.
Judge Hannah Dugan has been on the Milwaukee County bench for 9 years, but is herself under scrutiny after an incident involving a man wanted by immigration agents outside her courtroom Friday. According to a law enforcement source, ICE agents were waiting outside Dugan's courtroom for a man making a court appearance there, but Dugan is alleged to have shielded him to avoid his ICE detention. In an email to other judges shared with 12 News, Chief Judge Carl Ashley confirmed the presence of ICE agents Friday, explaining they had a warrant and were asked to wait outside the courtroom. However, Ashley said he, quote, had no information to provide as to what occurred inside Judge Dugan's courtroom. I spoke with Judge Dugan outside of her courtroom here this afternoon. She told me that she didn't wish to comment at this time, but there is a sign taped to her courtroom door that predates the Friday incident but seems to reference some of the same issues. The sign urges any person who, quote, feels unsafe coming to the courthouse to contact Judge Dugan's clerk to request a remote hearing via Zoom. It's dated 4 days before the Friday incident. An ICE spokesperson told 12 News Tuesday morning they would not confirm the incident. They also wouldn't say whether the man in question was ultimately detained by ICE. At the Milwaukee County Courthouse, Nick Ford, WISN 12 News.
Yeah, so again, this is just another problem that we have. Again, as we see here, Pam Bondi says, I can confirm that our FBI agents just arrested Hannah Dugan, a county judge in Milwaukee, for allegedly helping an illegal alien avoid an arrest by us government. No one is above the law. So, yeah, there is clearly good reasons for this. I mean, if you are actually helping an illegal person or anybody of a crime, avoiding the actual government, arrest by the ICE government, and helping an illegal alien, yeah, that probably warrants you to be arrested, right? That probably allows, maybe the government should probably get you arrested because, you're not really doing much of anything. So, again, these people are just idiots. I don't know what else to tell you on how these judges are doing this type of stuff, right? And again, we have this here where MSNBC is crying and moaning and groaning over the illegal immigrant is is justified or what have you, and crying as well about what the judge being arrested, because we should just be protecting illegal immigrants, and when judges break laws, we should just not arrest the judge because that makes sense to someone. It really is wild on how the Democrats are really just going out to save face here, or just trying to push away the things that this judge has done. It's really quite crazy in this world. It's nuts.
Have taken the extraordinary step to arrest a judge for allegedly obstructing an immigration arrest. Let's get right to NBC's Gary Grumbach, who has been trying to work on getting this reporting for us. What do we know?
So what we know right now is that over the past several days and weeks, we've seen videos of people being arrested at courthouses by Department of Homeland Security officials when they show up for hearings to adjudicate their immigration status. And that is something we've seen over and over again over the past several weeks. Now, veteran circuit court judge up in Milwaukee, Wisconsin, her name is Hannah Dugan. She's now being accused of trying to help out an undocumented immigrant avoid arrest. And I want to read to you FBI Director Kash Patel's tweet. He says in part, quote, just now, the FBI arrested Judge Hannah Dugan out of Milwaukee, Wisconsin, on charges of obstruction after evidence of Judge Dugan obstructing an immigration arrest operation last week. He says, going on saying, we believe Judge Dugan intentionally misdirected federal agents away from the subject to be arrested in her courthouse, Eduardo Flores Ruiz, allowing the subject, who they call an illegal alien, to evade arrest. Now, they say that this individual was eventually arrested by DHS officials. This is something that is just developing, Anna, and we have not yet seen any court documents in this case, but we are awaiting further news on this topic. Anna?
Again, I know how fresh this is, Gary, but do we know how unusual is a situation like this for feds to arrest a judge?
Well, this is incredibly unusual. This is certainly not something we saw during the Biden administration, not even something we saw during the first Trump administration. But with the increase of importance of immigration as a priority to the Trump administration this time, this is what we have started to see. This is the very first time we've ever seen a judge arrested like this. But seeing these on-camera videos of arrests at courthouses of immigrants that are there to adjudicate.
Yeah, so I mean, I don't know what else to tell people, right? It's like, it is unprecedented, sure, but again, it's because only the Democrats are doing this. Like, again, even I would say, like, Republican judges or what have you should also be arrested if they are violating laws, if they're not doing things legally, etc. I pay no sympathy for Republicans or Democratic judges. And especially when it comes down to, like, if you're breaking federal law or what have you, or you're trying to prevent a legal immigrant from being, arrested, yeah, that's probably something that you should be, FBI should investigate, and if you are proven to do so, be arrested. It's really not that difficult. I mean, it's kind of crazy on how we're just getting to this point, right? So, again, I don't see where this is just going to be a beneficial factor here. And of course, you have this here, right? we have this saying, breaking the constitutional crisis has arrived. We knew it was coming, just not when. And it's just like Kash Patel saying what's going on here, right? Just now, the FBI arrested Judge Hannah Dugan out of Milwaukee. So, again, this is what's going on here. But it's funny because, again, they say when Obama deported people without due process, no one heard a word about it. But when Trump does it, it's a constitutional crisis.
You to oversee the deportation of 400,000 people a year.
As long as Congress gives us the money to deport 400,000 people a year, that's what the administration is going to do. That's our obligation under the law. We will be strategic about how we do it. And the number of those folks who are either criminals or recent arrivals will continue to go up. But yes, this is our obligation under the law. And while we have the debate about reforming the law, we must enforce it, and we will do that.
Are you saying that this administration believes that there are 400,000 serious criminals who are not in jail right now and who should be deported? 400,000 people. Where are you going to find them if you're saying that your emphasis is only on serious criminals?
As I pointed out, of the people that we remove, of the 400,000 people removed in the last year, about half of them are serious criminals under the definition in immigration law. And the vast majority of the other half are either recent arrivals, people who are in the process of crossing at the border, or people who have recently been deported, or who had previously been deported, and are reentering. So that makes up the bulk of the 400,000 in previous years, and if the trends continue, that'll be reflected in the next 400,000 that we remove. But Congress passed a law, and Congress appropriates funds to implement that law, and the executive branch's job is to enforce it. How we do it matters a lot, but the president can't say to the Congress, I'm not going to bother to enforce this particular law because these are really compelling people. That's not how democracy works.
Yeah, so obviously, these people are just being idiots. They're being hypocrites here. Because whatever Trump does, it's something bad, right? But when Democrats do it, it's something great. Of course, today we have this here. Wisconsin judge arrested accused of shielding immigrant from federal agents. And all that stuff here. So without further ado, we have this here where MSNBC is crying more and more and more because that's all they do. Whenever Trump does something, it's just they have to whine and bitch and moan. It's really, really annoying. And, we're just going to get into it.
A judge in Wisconsin was arrested this morning at the very courthouse where she works. Joining us now is NBC's Tom Winter. Back with us is Temadayo Oganga-Williams. So, Tom, what exactly happened here?
Right, so the details are still coming in, but the reporting comes from our colleague Mike Cosner at our Washington, D.C. bureau. He's reporting that Judge Hannah Dugan, she's a Milwaukee County Circuit judge, was arrested this morning, quote, for allegedly assisting an undocumented immigrant in avoiding arrest after he appeared in her courtroom last week. Apparently, and by the way, we found out about all of this because the FBI director, Kash Patel, issued a tweet that has since been deleted. We're not sure why it was deleted, announcing this arrest and announcing these charges. And he said, quote, we believe Judge Dugan intentionally misdirected federal agents away from the subject to be arrested in her courthouse, Eduardo Flores Ruiz, allowing the subject, an illegal alien, his words, to evade arrest, end quote. So we're still trying to get some of the details as to what this individual was specifically brought into court for, what charges they were specifically facing, and some of the details of this arrest. I checked, just as you were talking to our colleague Chris Jansing there in Rome, the docket in Wisconsin, the federal charging documents have not yet been unsealed in this particular case. That's not particularly unusual when an arrest happens, and sometimes it takes a while for that paperwork. And remember, there's a time difference as well to appear on the record. So, again, still trying to get some details. But again, the arrest was apparently made at 9:30 Eastern time this morning. This follows, by the way, Jose, some similar types of incidents throughout the country where judges have been involved in some of these ICE cases. Just yesterday, the Suffolk County District Attorney in Boston, a democratically elected district attorney, issued a report chastising the judge that was involved in an immigration case there, saying the judge acted improperly after the judge accused ICE and prosecutors there of basically colluding together to get somebody who was about to face trial. A jury had just been impaneled to be removed by ICE. The district attorney's office did an investigation into that and actually rebuked what the judge said. So there's definitely some pushback in law enforcement circles. And one of the things that the Suffolk County district attorney pointed to there, which may or may not be relevant in the Milwaukee case, in this judge that was just arrested and the judge that we've been speaking about, is this idea of the supremacy clause. Basically, ICE has the authority, because they're a federal agency, to conduct these arrests, whether or not it's in a local courtroom or not. And there have been different steps and different things that have been done over the years with respect to some of these arrests. And there's been a number of cases that have gone through this even all prior to this current Trump administration. So it's definitely an issue that I think everybody thought would reach a particular point. It appears that it has this morning in the case of this Milwaukee judge. We'll just have to see what charges are ultimately brought once that docket becomes.
Well, the reason why this is a big case and why this is a big deal, right, is simply just due to the fact that, like, it's that we have Democrats that are violating law. So we should just avoid everything. When, like, if there's a judge that's obstructing actual criminal investigation or telling a criminal that is, you know, oh, these people are after you or protecting them, that we should just keep this judge in power. We should allow this judge to keep violating laws and endangering people. Imagine if the judge was doing this for some other type of criminal. It's like, this is no longer an actual judge here. This is an activist. This is a person that just constantly just, instead of doing actual her judicial right and serving justice and helping the American people, she's becoming an activist and being incredibly biased. Like, when you go up to a judge, right, you are expecting the judge to be as less biased as possible towards you and only go strictly based on the law when you're going to face a judge. So say, for instance, if you're a Republican for this matter, and this judge is in power, and they find out that you're a Republican or whatever, then the judge is probably going to be harsher on sentencing you because they're against your opposition. They don't like you. Why would you have a judge in this particular order be in power when they're obviously obstructing the government from doing their job? That's insane. Yes, of course this judge should be arrested. Of course this judge should not be allowed to keep on going and doing stuff that they see fit, because obviously they're breaking the law. They're an activist. They shouldn't be in judicial power whatsoever. And I do believe, yes, charges should be afoot. We're seeing more and more on how these Democrats are starting to act and starting to be when it comes down to going against Trump and the illegal immigrants. And all we're seeing so far right now is Democrats are siding with the illegal immigrants and not with the American people. And whatever Trump does or says, it's a huge problem. So I don't know what else to tell people. MSNBC is crying and moaning about it. Far leftists are just raging or whatever, saying whatever. But of course, they get caught red-handed when they end up finding out that, you know, Obama did the same thing, so deporting people. So these people are hypocrites. They're hypocrites. They're idiots, and they don't even know what they're talking about half the time. They're low IQ. So that's what we have to expect from these people. All right, guys, that's it for the video. Like, subscribe, share. As always, take care, my friends.